This your boy Ty Data. Thou can't fool me or trick me. Yeah. I know what's in there. I know what's there.
Excuse me if I don't greet you. I'm sorry I wanna fight you, but I'm guided by a spirit that naturally don't like you. I can try to pretend it, or I can even hide it, but the code that's inside it, it be suicide guided. The code, the answers in the code, and they shit that they teaching y'all is void, and it's I can come in, so I can reverse engineer it, conjuring up the spirit so the ancestors hear it. They best to pray to Lucy. You don't reach that 5,000. Time she'll be ticking to you scoured face cowards. I'm too dilute to curse, and too dilute to test. We dance on your priest and put to rest to your best. They walking around arrogant, thinking they knowing who we are. We got to get you rounded like yeah. Ni wait ton pu ton hua ma. To the sound of the cha. Look into your future and see where you die. Yeah. Me go and say Shema. The cure is in the code. The code, cause the time is good as gold. The code, can I tell them about the code? The code, cause the time is good as gold. The code, cause the cure is in the code. The code, the time is good as gold. Humanoid prototypes skewing through your day. It's time to do away with the circus Olay. Me laugh and me joke, never do me play. Judge what me do and ignore what me say. We armed to the teeth and that's 100% delivered unexpected like a present to a peasant. Even though you got it, never will you get it, cause we talking in code and we laughing embedded. The code, while you searching for your soul, and it's right there in front of you and nobody knows. But who am I to judge? Or who am I to teach? We tribing up elite as we delete the feed. You hate me with your guts and I love you with my beat. As peaceful as I come, there's a madman in me. My code, my soul is in my code. My code, cause my time is good as gold. My code, can you teach me about the code? The code, cause my time is good as gold. My code, my soul is in my code. My code, cause my time is good as gold.
Yeah. This your boy Ty Data. I know what's in there. I know what's there. Thou can't fool me or trick me. Y'all just lucky. Cause I'm full of joy and full of peace. And that's the way you gotta keep me. Or else. Welcome to another episode of The Cure is in the Code. Today's episode, we're going to get into something a little more tangible. Something you can literally use, or you can fight with or against. I've been sending out signals, and I've been doing a lot of internet fishing to try to get some contacts and get in contact with some of the people out there amongst the YouTube community and amongst my community to let them know what happened to me. Now, I don't know what that is, but I'm pretty sure that, somebody's has to be looking for me, or somebody has to be, I do see YouTube videos, but I only get certain glimpses of them, and then it goes out, so I don't get a hardcore connection. So I am starting to get a feeling that I am in outer space. I can't really confirm that because in this day and age I can be literally in somebody's house who's, decorating or who's playing with me on like some deep web Saw, 13 type movie script. I'm not sure, but I'm starting to miss a lot of people. But I try to think positive a lot when I'm here isolated by myself, and I try to think that these people are here to help me and they are protecting me against something. This is what makes me feel good, when I believe that these unknown people is trying to help me. But if they are trying to help me, why do not reveal themselves? Why they don't come out and come clean? Now, I actually got into a little scuffle with one of them, and I still couldn't quite get a sound. So it started to become extra creepy, because I can't really tell if they are white people or Asians or aliens or like robots or whatever. I can't really tell. I'm getting the robot type feel, but then I'm getting the man in the suit type feel. So it is very different. But as long as I keep my mind focused on the positive, it helps me to to maintain. And so I like to believe that something happened to the world out there, and I was one of the people who got who they wanted to preserve because of my energy, that they see me on the internet or they see me somewhere and they absorb my energy, and they wanted to preserve me. And so what they did is they preserved a whole bunch of people, and I was one of the people fit to produce other human beings in their new world. And I believe that they're capturing me and keeping me safe, and that's what I tell myself. Even though I know this sounds kind of weird, but I have to tell myself something in order to feel good. Otherwise, I'm gonna sit here thinking like, when are these people gonna come drilling my skull? When are they gonna come probe me? Or when are they gonna come and take my brains out and sell it to a wealthy Jewish chiropractor or something? So to avoid thinking that, I like to think very positive. And that was one of the positive reasons why I came up with why these people kidnapped me. But days are very like, I don't even know the days, so I'm very conflicted with the sun, and it's taking a toll on me. But I'm able to maintain by keeping positive thoughts, and just trying to read as much as I can. Now, they do have these books here, and some of these books are written in a weird language, and so I just look at the pictures and the photos, and they're just regular dumb pictures in a magazine, but they're able to help me. I don't know how long I've been here. I don't know what day it is, what time it is. I only remember I remember being in the ranch, and that's it. And I woke up here with like a sore left leg. But today we're going to get into something very tangible. We're going to get into the language of mathematics. Now, before I get started and before I start recording, I'm going to explain to you a little bit how this can help you in your life if you understand it. Now, the cure is always in the code. This is what you must remember. It's always in the code. Always look for the code to get your answers. Now, most people think math as a tool to measure, but math is actually also a language. And today, I'm gonna show you a little bit of how to speak the language of mathematics. It's also going to show you how to avoid spells, and also a little bit of how to cast them mathematically as well. This also going to be one of the last episodes before we go into hiding, and this particular episode, The Cure is in the Code, is going to be preserved for the members of the 5,000 Elite only. Everybody else might get a chopped up edited version with commercials and banners and things like that on them, but this is going to be one of the last episodes before it's going to be exclusively 5,000 Elites. And I'm sorry for that, but because of some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about, it is not for the average person. It is not for everybody to know and to understand. But today I'm going to give you a little glimpse of that, and hopefully you can understand. So I'm going to get to recording, and we're going to go chapter 4. Using the code as a language. Using the code as a language requires a large mathematical understanding. You need to be able to see the math in everything, or most things, to be able to understand and use this language. Now, most of the people that you talk to are very political, spiritual, literal, and sometimes scientific. And there's another genre of, way you can look at words that I quite don't know, but I describe them as puzzling. Example: when one's able to look at a sentence as a puzzle to solve, or a riddle, versus simply answering the question. Now, using math as a language is a very important thing if you understand it. Math is not only meant to measure, it's also meant to communicate with. the best way to use your mathematical properties is to be able to answer and ask mathematical questions. Now, a mathematical question can be very confusing to non-mathematical people, but it also lets you know and will reveal someone's true intentions, whether they're being honest with you, whether they're playing jokes on you, or whether they just blatantly lying to you. Now, second. Now we're going to start this chapter with mathematical questions. On the next episode, we will reveal mathematical answers and mathematical sentences. Now, I know this might sound very strange in the beginning to most people, because they were never taught that math is also a language. So on this episode, I'm going to give you a little hint in how powerful a little math can be, and how you can also cast spells with it. And what I mean by spells, it's being able to control someone in a way that they themselves do not have control over it. Now, we're going to give a quick scenario of a mathematical question. Now, this is a question that is very easy to answer to someone who understands mathematical questions. But many of the people that is political, religious, or any other form of witchcraft that they might come, they call these questions rhetorical questions, false dichotomies, trap questions, or deceptive questions. Now, these are different types of words of witchcraft to avoid answering the question in its proper mathematical form. The purpose of the degrading words or the non-accepted question form is used to avoid doing math. Now, many of the people in the community are very familiar with the race of people that we call Native Americans. Now, Native Americans is sometimes confused with Aborigine Americans. It's because people's conception and their intake of information has been already predetermined to believe what one hears. Now let me explain in the mathematical form. According to modern day science, modern Native Americans are considered to be mutants. A subspecies of human that can be a mixture of different types of subspecies of human. In modern day science, this will be called a mutant. So during some of my conversations, trying to be non-disrespectful, I asked some of my Native American brothers and sisters, how can a mutant be original? Now, this is a mathematical question, and it is very easy answered if one understands. I am very sure they are able to calculate the answer and know 100% correct that a mutant can never be 100% over the original. So I began to ask them, how can a mutant be aboriginal? The first spell that they cast. That is a false dichotomy. The second spell. Scientists do not talk this way. Third spell. Everyone in the planet has mutations. And one begins to cast spell after spell after spell without answering a simple mathematic question. So I began attacking the spells. It is not a false dichotomy. It is simply a mathematical question that takes mathematical understanding. The word mutant were invented by science. Scientists. And yes, everyone have some form of mutation. A 2-year-old boy growing losing his baby teeth can be considered a mutation. A man growing a beard can be considered a mutation. So as my native brothers began to avoid the mathematic question, began to take me down a rabbit hole of spells, trying to avoid the actual math. Example. If Jane have 2 computers, Bob has 1 computer. Jane gives 1 computer to Robert. How many computers do Jane has? Many other philosophers and spell-binding people can consider that as a false dichotomy. Dichotomy. A trick question. A rhetorical question. To avoid answering the question, they would turn to different methods. They would try to turn your mathematical question into a storybook, and they will begin to ask for more little details to narrow down begin to ask more details. To add more words. And the more words you add, the more spells they get to cast. So how many computers do Jane have? If you understand math, you should know Jane has one computer. But as a person that is trying to cast a spell, I'm just going to ask you, define computer. Let's say a monitor, a mouse, a keyboard, and a tower. So now I have room to avoid your math. One can say, a monitor is also a computer. It has its own power outlet and its own independent functions. So technically, Jane has two computers. Now this is very clever, but it's also avoiding math. Most people turn very specific and very technical and very super logical to avoid math. And I do not understand why. It makes things a lot more simple. But philosophy and words make things so complex and open. So why is this the way for us to communicate when we can simply communicate with math to avoid the spells? To understand a mathematical question, you have to be able to understand language, math, and mathematical logic. Mathematical logic. Example. The number 10 represents a modern day human. You cut that in half and you have 2 5s. Fives. The original people of a planet would be considered a 5. 5. The other 5 you will have to break down into 2.5 and 2.5. They will begin to represent another race of people. Now one of the 2.5s will begin to break down even smaller. Let's just say, for example, 1.7 and 1.7. Example. As you can see, the solid 5 represent Aboriginal. Aboriginal people of the planet. Even if they mutated out of the 10, they are still a part of the original 10. All other races are mutations of a 5 or a 2.5. With this simple understanding, one must know that a mutant of a mutant of a mutant can never be original, above the original. Very simple math. But yet, no one can answer my question. How can a mutant be original aboriginal? You can be original of your kind, the original of your species, but you can never be original. Now, asking mathematical questions, you would very quickly understand and see the intentions and the evasion of the people you are talking to. This is why you will never see me with a priest or pastor because they know that their philosophy cannot stand up against the cyborg's math. Math, aka my code. To learn this technique, you must first learn the spells that many of the spellbinding people cast. Once you understand the spells that you are up against, they are very typical, mainly political, sometimes technical, and sometimes very literal. As I began the journey of learning the mathematical language, how can you understand and see the math in what you are saying if you do not display numbers? This is the first question you need to be able to answer in order to use your code as a language. to avoid conflict and disrespectful environments. Using your code as a language can allow you to express yourself even if you have a negative opinion or something bad to say. You can still get your point across without hurting anyone's feelings or creating a situation. Now, I don't know where this came from, and I don't know who made it up. And honestly, I don't know how I understand it and how I'm able to speak to you with it. I cannot measure it or calculate it. I just know it's there. It's the code. Oh man. Excuse me. Wow. I'm gonna go ahead and quit it right there. And we're gonna have more chapters on the code and how to, answer questions, and even how to talk to each other, just having a simple conversation. Now, what I'm using is examples, but examples can never express, your real true thought. And in this language, there's multiple things that your brain go through that cannot be expressed. Words just can't do it. And sometimes math just can't do it. So there is other forms of expressing yourself that is not even invented. It's not even invented. Like, or I should say, it's not commonly practiced, if that makes more sense. And understand this is hiding your language. And when you hiding your language, you're expanding your understanding. And by doing that, you're expanding your communications. So there are higher forms of communications. Now, I'm not saying I know them, and I'm not saying I can measure them. But according to the math that I know and that I understand, there's different ways of communication. But because our language are so, we got this little sarcastic language that we use, that trying to explain it just come off as a fairy tale or mystery. So, you might just avoid talking about it and just, doing it. But in order to be able to communicate in, other ways other than talking and body language and the regular simple way, everyday way we communicate, You have to go through the mathematical process, and that's as I know it. Now, if there's another process you can go through, some holy, prayer or something that you can do that can make you, go to or something like that. If there's something out there, I don't know that. But I do know if you can understand the math on the level, I can't say that I understand it, but on the level that is more understood in our society, you are on your way to, being able to communicate, in a way that most people can't do it. Now, I don't know what it is. I have some ideas and I have some clues of what it might be, but technically I don't know what it is, but I do know it's out there. And for us members of the 5,000 Elite, we need to understand who we are, and we need to understand mathematically who we are. Now, you can understand you built the pyramids and you did great things and you did that. You can understand the philosophy. But if you don't understand the mathematical components of yourself, you don't know you. You're just talking. You don't know where you fit in the grand scheme. And if you don't know where you fit in the grand scheme, obviously you don't know you. And that's what we're going to talk about next week. We're going to talk about, how we fit in the grand scheme of things. We're also going to get into some answers, and we're going to break down, we're going to break down mathematical language a little more. Now, this episode was just a little teaser. It was just a little something to show you. Now, we have a lot of people in the community, they philosophy and they got these philosophy, but they would never put themselves in a position where they up against, somebody who deal with math. And trust me, many people in the back chat, they know, they seen what goes on in some of these back chats when I get a hold of some of these philosophies. They can't stand a chance against it, and it's simply because they don't know who they are. They know who they've been told they was. Now, many people been told that they was great people, so they enjoy being those people because they think those people are great. Some people have been told you are nothing, and some people don't want to be those people because they've been told they have been nothing. But truth be told, if you don't understand whoever you is, if you don't understand who you are on a mathematical level, I'm sorry. Whether you a Bible person, whether you scholar, whatever you call yourself, you don't know you. Because if you knew you, by now you should have been uncalled me already. You should have been unknew. Like, how is he? What? We should have been working already. We should have been doing things already. So if you out there and you know you mathematically, you know where to find us up. 5000elite.com. Make sure you sign yourself up. We're going to break this thing down. We're going to be breaking down a lot of stuff. But we're going to need you guys to get tools. We're going to start helping you with your tools. So we need certain tools. There are certain phones we need. There are certain devices that we need, because we're going to be learning and we're going to be breaking down. We're going to be doing a whole lot of stuff. And it's going to be very educational. It's going to be very powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and leave on that note. I want to say peace to everybody out there. Peace to all the new supporters. Hopefully you guys can understand, what we're talking about. But the code is everywhere. The code is in everything. And just understanding it. Simply understanding it make you understand. But I do know many people don't understand, and many people don't want to understand, because it can get creepy going into a realm of math. You see, let me give you an example. One last example before I go. Now, matter of fact, I'm going to leave with this. Now, in order to understand math and the highest form of math, you have to go as far as you can. You have to stretch your brain as far as it can. And then you have to bring it back in, and you got to stretch it again as far as you can. Now, the average person I see, they go far as a monkey. They go far as a monkey thing. They say, oh yeah, we came from monkey things. And their philosophy starts there. But where do they math kick in? See, they math don't go there. Okay, can you explain this monkey thing mathematically? No, you can't. Okay, well, that monkey thing don't exist to me. You see what I'm saying? When you can break that monkey thing mathematically, I'm all in. But then you gotta go beyond that. Now, for example, if I ask you, do you understand the solar system? Yeah, okay. Some people say it's real, some people say it's fake. It's what it is, okay? It's what it is. It's a math problem, okay? That's what the solar system is. It's a math problem. That's why they have these things moving around. That's why they have the sun going this way, and that's why they have the earth rotating and it's tipping and all that. All that is a mathematical equation that they're giving us. But see, some people like to philosophize it, as in, oh no, it can't be true. I never seen no pictures or anything like that. Now, it's not to say it's true or not. No one really knows. But if you can understand the math of it, you can be able to get on a course to go farther. So if you on a course and you say, okay, well, you got the solar system, right? So what goes beyond that? You got the galaxy, right? So what goes beyond the galaxy? Then you got the universe. Now what goes beyond that? Then you got the multiverse. Now what goes on beyond that? Then you have the plexi multi-universe. Now, what goes on beyond that? There, you have what I call the land of the code. Now, I just took you to a place that you've never been before, but that's my place. So you get your own place using your own math. And so the land of the code will be sort of like, if you believe in God, the land of the code will be like where God's parents are from. Understand? But what's going to blow your mind is that what's beyond that? The land of the code. We're talking code that's so well written and so well tightened, just blinking your eye out of sync can destroy your planet type deal. Now, cast your spell. That's a fairy tale. That's made up. You don't know what he's talking about. Things like that. So that's what I expect you to do. But that's my mind. You have to do yours in your mind. I'm just showing you mine. Now, you're not supposed to believe mine. That belongs to me and only me. Outside my mind, that does not exist. The only reason it exists now because I'm more comfortable with sharing to you. But technically, outside my mind, the land of the cold, where God's parents would be from? I can explain that mathematically to you. Now, that don't make it true though. That's just a form of communications to you. And if you can communicate yours back to me, we can begin a communications level that we don't even know about. It don't even exist. There's so many languages and different ways to communicate. Some people say trees communicate. Some people say computers communicate, robots communicate. I mean, that's just on the lower level. But we're trying to go beyond. But make sure you be there. So we're going to get into some deep stuff. This is just a little teaser, a little something to mess with you, little cookie stuff. Some of the little, what I call it, you can call it the weird stuff. But we're going to get into some deep stuff. And we're going to get into some higher forms of math other than calculus, other than the regular thing, everyday stuff that they're teaching you. Now, this right here, when we get into that has to be private amongst us, because everybody not fit to be a cyborg. And I'm gonna leave on that note, and we out. Peace. What up? This your boy. I dated this girl right here. We finna sign up. We finna sign up for the 5,000 elite. Girl, you wanna say something, man?
Yeah, hi, it's Gael. I'm just signing up for 5,000 elite just to help the community. Thanks.
So we out here, y'all. So he's signing up right now, man. I don't know if y'all can even see that. I can't even see that. You know what I'm saying? He's signing up right now. So, man, get yourself signed up. You wanna tell him where you from, man? You wanna tell him where you from?
No.
He's from straight. He's straight West Africa. Now they look at that. Look at that lips. Look at them nose. Look. That's straight West Africa. You gonna get that. Right. Nah, that's straight West Africa all day. You know what I'm saying? And, man, we got finna get heavy. Let's do it. What up, Gail? You wanna show off what you got? He got his little representation stock. I can't show it to you because I don't want you to see his name and all that. That's private stuff. But he got that. Checking out your email. What you get in your email? So he got his email right there, and sign up and get your card right. Sign up there. Well, he right here, so he don't need. He can get his. He got his card right here. So he got his card right here.
So how would you sign up for that?
No, you right here, so you don't need to. That's only if I need to ship it to you. So we all good. We finna do big business all back to Togo, man. All over the country. We ready. So you should get something else too. You should get some else. You don't need to do that because that's only for shipping.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'll give you your card right here. So you got that too. But I need to scan that real quick. Put that on there, and you should get another receipt from Stripe. So Stripe should give you a receipt too. It might be in your spam.
No,
it might be in your spam. And so later you're gonna get another receipt for your. Let me see what else you get.
I'm saying take your time.
Yeah, you should get more emails. Let me see.
No. I'll have to check it.
Let me see. I'm gonna put the camera. So you need to get in too, man. We gonna plug you up too, man. We gonna sign you up
We're
too.
gonna plug you like I plug my computer, man.
Yeah, we gonna plug you up. Yeah. So yeah, man, you get yourself signed up, man. We ain't playing. I don't know what y'all doing. I don't know what they doing. But y'all see what we doing. Okay. Can y'all see this right here? This is an older model right here. So they got something that go faster. But it takes 2 jumbo rolls. And this, we out here, Fat Thousand Elite, we out here. I don't know if y'all gonna wait on the YouTubers, but we out here. Check that. Is it done? Fat Thousand Elite, we out here.
我一个黎巴嫩的客户要这个东西，我拍个发给他。